This is Hatch, and this is a Hatchet Gaming production, and today we are covering Mass Effect Andromeda. They are having a new live stream that starts here in about a minute, so we're going to just kind of jump into it and see what they have to say, and we'll find out what it is. So at least for right now, I'm going to leave the mic on. We're just kind of relaxing with some coffee, waiting for this to start. And here it goes.
Attention Apex forces, Kandros here. Let me introduce you to our newest Apex recruit. He's a little unconventional, but who of us isn't? Okay, yes, he's a Batarian, I know, but hear me out. He's a cagey fighter, in my opinion, one of the best. And yes, he got his training with one of the most notorious pirate gangs in the Milky Way, but he got tired of that life. So he and a buddy turned evidence on the boss over to the Alliance in exchange for asylum. The Alliance got their bad guy, and our Batarian scrapper got a shot at a new life in Andromeda. He's a huge asset, punches like a machine, so let's make him feel at home, and maybe give him a little extra space, just in case. Kandros out.
Hey everybody, I'm Connell, the community manager here at BioWare, and with me is Billy Buskell, always our multiplayer host, and today we're going to be talking to you about the multiplayer updates in patch 1.09. Now single player, we've got that on the blog right now. I believe Sean can throw that in the thing there. If you're wondering what's happening in single player, you can see some of the updates there. But today let's talk about multiplayer, because there's a lot of stuff going on in multiplayer.
There's a ton of new stuff, yeah, and I think we're going to see a bunch of notes that'll go live right after the stream. We'll walk through a bunch of those today. We'll talk about some of the new content, and we'll talk about the overall patches and balance updates we've done. Now, one thing we get asked a lot is just if we don't include certain things, is there a reason for that?
And well, you know what, we do. The notes are usually pretty comprehensive,
Yes.
but yeah, there are always little things that get tweaked here
Yeah.
and there, and tons of lists that don't make the cut and get rolled into other stuff. And usually that's just because it doesn't affect most players. Most people won't notice it.
Yeah.
You don't need to know that in one in every 100 million instances you will get this crash, and we took care of it.
Yeah, exactly. But one I'd like to call out really early, because I know it's something that folks asked a lot after patch 108 was something seems to have changed with whether it's stability or performance with the Rieger carbine. We had a lot of fun with the weapon, but oh my, it did something to me.
Yeah, too much lightning
Exactly.
all over your screen.
Yeah, and to be fair, it generally was only affecting the PC players on certain spec machines, but we can say that that has been addressed in patch 109. So we wanted to make sure that we call that out right away. If you don't see it in the notes, it's because it's part of that kind of general stability and performance improvements. So
you can bring back the Palpatine gun.
There you go. Exactly. Have fun. So let's jump in. I'm going to give you a quick summary for those who are just joining us right away. What can we look at in today's stream? So we got new Platinum difficulty, new Batarian Scrapper. You just saw his intro now. The new Kishok harpoon gun is back. So if you're a fan of that from ME3, it's back. Great sniper rifle, damage over time. We'll go into more details on that shortly. The new weapon variants. A lot of people are seeing this in the Apex HQ app this morning. We'll talk about those. Veteran bonus. A lot of questions about what that does for players and what that means for your card collection. We're going to talk about two new maps briefly that you can expect to see in the month of July, and new ways to unlock new content within the item store. So, and then of course, right after that, we'll jump straight into the balance updates. So,
and Blazing Lord Soul is saying thank you for Platinum. So
yes.
let's talk about Platinum. We're upping the difficulty for the people.
Exactly. We've had a lot of people asking about this for a long time. It's something we've been playtesting for quite some time. We wanted to get this into players' hands, but we wanted to make sure it was in a good place. And so this is the first weekend it's available. It's about giving a greater challenge and a greater reward to players. So for those who want to get into Platinum, it's available today. It's available through a mission. It's also available directly through the match selection, so you can go create your own lobbies with it. You choose whichever map you figure is the right one for you. Now that's actually a big part of people are going to say, well, why are you not, if you have new maps, why not have them today? We want people to get a little bit comfortable with Platinum before we send you off into a new space and die
so
a lot.
You have some kind of bearing.
Yeah, get your bearings before we throw you into the thick of things, right?
Now in Platinum, there's a new enemy faction. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's technically 3 versions of new factions out there, and we know that in standard gameplay we have the Ket, the Remnant, and the Outlaws. In Platinum we have 3 mixed versions of those. So if you go in there, we were playing with 1, we've got it up to 3. We want players to play with it, tell us what they think. I have a feeling one of them will be a little bit more difficult out of the gate, but we'll let you guys, play with that, discover it.
So you're gonna be fighting those anointed and observers at the same. Everyone's favorite. Things
Yeah,
to
the
fight.
2 things together. You're like,
At
you know,
once,
if
all
you're
at
out
once.
of cover, you're gonna have some tricky challenges there. So. A lot of people are going to be like, oh my goodness, and we get a lot of questions about survivability. We're going to get into a little bit of like ways that we can improve your survivability in a moment, but really it comes down to giving a greater challenge. I've seen a lot of questions in chat already. What does it mean for rewards? We did an mission with 11 waves, and a lot of folks said, hey, I liked it, it was fun, but I want greater rewards. So the exact numbers can vary between what's there and how you land certain objectives and how you score within combos and things like that, but you're looking at roughly 2 times the payout of gold. So, gold roughly around 55,000 credits coming out of that. You're looking at around, I think it's 120. We see with a full extraction.
Obviously,
120,
with
125,
that, that comes with a much greater challenge. I mean, my office is next to the multiplayer test lab, and I've heard a lot of swearing coming through that wall in the last few weeks.
We've been playing for the last few weeks, having a blast. That if you're not spec'd correctly, if you're not working together as a team, I feel bad for everybody on your headsets. But it's a lot of fun. So I think it's really the core of Platinum is getting in there and facing a new type of challenge that you've never seen before, where you do have, exactly like you said, an anointed that pressures you from afar with his Soned, and then an observer that's sitting off to the distance with that laser beam for you. So
we'll get a little bit more to how we buff teamwork in a little bit to help with Platinum, but let's talk about the new character first.
Yes.
The Batarian.
Yeah, we've had a lot of folks ask, well, when can we get new races? The Batarian, as we kind of showed it a little bit in the trailer there, he's a stowaway, and he kind of got in there. He kind of hung out with the Solarian Arc. He made some deals to kind of get himself into the situation. I think
Classic Batarian.
Classic Batarian move, right? They're always looking out for themselves, and they generally have ulterior motives. So, he joins the fray today. He's kind of a mix of. I like to think of him as like an advanced soldier, but he's very melee driven, and you'll see that if you start using him. He's got flat cannon, concussive shot to keep enemies from afar at bay, but Snap Freeze is brand new to MEA. It's from ME3. We brought it back as a fan favorite. Gets requested week over week. But we thought if we're going to bring that back, and Batarians are known for melee, why not do a detonating melee? So you freeze them and you shatter, and it's incredibly satisfying. It's just a big wind up. Goes back to a little bit more of that classic heavy melee feel. So I'll look for that. And one of the other things that we talk about with the characters right now is veteran bonus. So every character gets this now. We've had a lot of people ask, like, hey, I went and bought some packs on the Apex HQ, and I saw that I was ranking up to 11 and beyond, and that's brand new. That's the veteran bonus. It's a brand new feature. As you level up your characters, we will add additional passive stats. So you don't have to worry about spending points. It's just an additional bonus to your character. And this is to make you more powerful heading into higher difficulties. So you'll see as we go to gameplay later in the stream, my Batarian Scrapper is at rank 20, so he's got a veteran bonus of 10. And that, over each stage, you gain more power damage, more combo damage, and more melee damage. So
you can wind up with like a 40% boost on your damage.
Exactly.
And that's something we've heard from people too, talking about, prestige or the leveling up of characters. It didn't feel like it really pushed it that much, and that's what these veteran bonus ranks are going to do for you.
And I know a lot of people have questions like, oh my goodness, if I do this and you put this many cards in this pool, isn't that going to hurt my chances of getting other things? And we'll talk about some of the ways we've been introduced to help you get through that in a moment. So that's kind of the new characters right now. For those who are paying attention, I've already seen it on Reddit. A few folks are picking up. There's some details in the description of the Batarian Scrapper that are very interesting. So look for that. I think that tells where things are moving going forward. So weapons and mods. As we talked about, the Kishok harpoon gun has joined the fray. This is a fan favorite coming out of ME3. It's a sniper rifle. It has a charge up, so you basically pull. You see the little charge up meter go. If you hit it, it does damage over time too. So you're essentially bleeding out your enemies, and it's got a quick shot function. But where you really want to do is wind up, hit your shot, and watch the enemy. You can basically almost like fire and forget as he kind of bleeds out over time. So
Well, a new thing we've done too, in addition to this new weapon, is there's some new weapon variants.
Yes.
And these are specifically thought around teammates and harder difficulties to make you more viable.
Absolutely. We got a lot of feedback coming out of introducing the S weapons. Those were kind of means to bring the starting weapons up to a kind of gold viable, as players will tell us, a gold viable state for power and damage. But now as we go and we want to make players available to jump to a higher difficulty, especially if you're going from gold to platinum, we've introduced 3 new weapon types. They take a lot of your favorites that are out there right now, and they introduce 3 variants on them. Some of them you'll notice that don't have it. For example, the Scorpion doesn't necessarily have every weapon type because of the type of gun it is, but overall you can expect to see Bulwark, Siphon, and Concussive. My phone is doing terrible things. We will stop that. Getting a call on your watch.
Billy, don't you know you're supposed to turn off your phone?
My phone's off, but my watch is
your
apparently
watch
not.
is a phone now.
There
It's
you
modern
go.
technology.
Apologies, folks. So with weapon variants, the Bulwark is basically granting you additional damage resistance. So you can get up to rank 10 of each of these guns. The only way to get these weapons is to get to rank 10 of that gun. So if you have, say, a Hurricane at rank 10, the only way you'll start to see these variants is if you have it at 10, and then it starts to go. And the reason for that is that these basically are the weapon variants take the level 10 of that gun and then add this passive stat to it. So it's meant to increase power actually with it.
And so Bulwark, that gives you damage resistance for every teammate that's around you.
Exactly.
Which means that, for those of you who like to solo, well, you're going to find out pretty quick in Platinum that running around Vanguard smashing on the map, not the best strategy anymore.
Not the greatest strategy right up front, but if you're working together with a team and you like to work as a pack, Bulwark is incredibly powerful. You can get additional damage resistance if all 4 of you run Bulwarks, especially if you get to rank 10. You're going to be in a great spot. You're almost like this walking fortress of power there. Siphon takes a different approach. It's almost like a vampiric ability. We call it, basically kill enemies, recover their health. So it's almost like energy drain, but in a gun. And so that can be used solo, can be used as a group, but it's a ton of fun. This is one of our favorites in the studio right now to play on Platinum. As you go in there and you go boom, take that power back.
That lifesteal.
Just take the lifesteal and keep yourself at a high health rate, because the damage coming in from enemies is huge. So
my favorite though has got to be the concussive.
Yes, yeah.
Especially if you're a sniper rifle, this adds a biotic detonation on a weak point kill.
Yeah.
And so if you're getting those headshots, suddenly you're turning your enemies into grenades.
Absolutely, yeah. And I often think of Bulwark and Siphon as great for Platinum. Concussive is fantastic through all. They're all technically great at any difficulty, but Concussive for me shines right through, because if you're in a lower difficulty and you got one, it's going to detonate anything nearby. If you got a pack of addies near each other, boom, take out one, the other's going to blast out from there. So it's a ton of fun to use these ones, and the higher level guns are just monsters.
Well, it just makes it feel so rewarding to actually get that headshot, because you pop their head and then they
not
blow
only
up.
not only do you see the squishy head, you actually
fireworks.
see you get a little bit of celebration with it too. Now, one other thing we've introduced is weapon mods. Now, we know that we've obviously added a lot into the pool here, so we want to make sure that we're not over bloating that in that regard. We've added some more weapon mods. We had a request for a long time. Players have said, hey, I want a way to increase my accuracy on assault rifles and pistols without having to use the scope. And that's something I'm a big fan of as well. I tend to not use the scopes if I don't need to in any particular match. But we introduced a new mod called Targeting System. You'll see that pop in. That'll start showing up in the mod packs. And then we also introduced some barrels and a couple others for some of the gold, the rare items. These ones are brand new, and they have they're variations essentially, much like what we see with the weapon variants. They have a stat trade-off. You may remember some of these from single player, where you can say, I've got a heavy barrel that has additional damage, but it trades off for, say, reload speed. And if that's something you're comfortable with, you can choose those. But to make sure those don't affect the pool, we actually put those exclusively in the item store. So if you don't want to have those appear in your packs, don't worry. you don't have to worry about new mods showing up packs. You'll only see those go into the item store.
So let's talk
packs.
about some of the way the new packs are working.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new content, so we got some new packs.
Absolutely. I think a lot of folks picked up on this very quickly with the new functionality that we introduced in patch 108 of being able to buy packs in the Apex HQ store. We introduced a new rotation, so a lot of folks have been saying, hey, I really want to have an opportunity to go get this equipment that I missed 3 weeks ago. I was on vacation, didn't get a chance. We said, well, we don't want to rerun one at a time or two at a time because that's going to take forever to get through all the others. We introduced 18 new items today. And so to allow a better chance of people get what they need, we've said, let's put it on a random rotation. There's now 2 uncommon and 2 rare equipment items every single week. It'll rotate every single Thursday, so you want to check back week over week to see if they're ones you're missing. And we're going to talk about a couple that got updated in the patch notes in a moment. So you can look for those. The other thing we introduced is a lot of players said, hey, I want to go to the item store and I want to have something truly meaningful to take away with my mission funds. So we've introduced the idea now of an uncommon, a rare, and an ultra rare pack that will rotate. And those will be a combination of weapon mods, weapons, and characters. So right now, if you check, I believe it's set to a random rotation again, but right now it is set to random ultra rare character. So if you've been hunting ultra rare characters, you can buy those in the item store. They are expensive for mission funds, but we've added a ton of ways to get more mission funds, and we'll talk about that in a quick second too. So we're getting ahead of ourselves because all these things are kind of like
they all
connect
into
each other. It's all these loops.
Now
that
you have
tie
new
in.
ways to buy stuff with mission funds. So how are we going to get those mission funds?
Absolutely, yeah. So new mission funds available through 2 daily challenges per day. So you can, if you are playing daily, you can get up to 60 mission funds per day. And if you look at the cost of a rare item pack now in the item store, it is still that 120 mission funds. So if you think about, even over 6 days at 60 funds, you have 360. That's the first time I've ever done successful math on a stream. But you'll be able to take away 3 rare characters or weapons or whatever that pack is that week. 3 of those per week if you complete just your daily challenges for 6 days. So you can kind of see how that stacks up. We have, obviously the missions that are daily. You can get 10 mission funds for each of those, and then now adding the 4th mission slot with the platinum mission as well. So there's a lot of different things here to go get more mission funds. And of course, if you say, hey, you know what? Right now it's ultra rare characters. I'm waiting for ultra rare weapons. You can hold on to your mission funds the following week. It may turn up there too. So there's all of that. One
to
thing,
start a shadow, yes, there is stuff in
yeah,
yeah. It is water.
There you go. The mystery
right.
we've seen
So
behind the scenes now. So
let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about some of the gameplay changes we've made, particularly to enemies.
Yes, exactly. So one of the things that we hear a lot about is the Fiend, and we are aware that there's been some issues with him. We've done a lot over the last few patches to try to improve how vocal he is, how present he is, if he's teleporting, all the issues that we've heard over time. We've tried to address this as many times as we can, but we've discovered that with all the fixes we've done, there's still going to be a subset of players that will still see some issues. So to kind of, in the interest of fairness to the players and allowing for more options, we've said sync kills are no longer fatal. They will put you into a down state. So that applies to the Ascendant, the Fiend, and the Hydra. When they sync kill you, it is no longer a kill, it's a down state. You can go revive your player, your teammates, or you can use your own revive.
And that's most cases. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, you might find one, you got low health, you get grabbed by it.
If you're right on the edge of a gate, like a health gate, it's possible to go, or if you're right on the brink of being sync killed and a missile or another detonation hits you, there's still a potential that you go into a death state, but generally you will find that it will not. The only exceptions we've really seen to our internal testing is generally on Platinum, where enemies do tend to pass through gates a little bit faster. So that covers enemies. That's the big one. The next one I think will be a big point for players as well. We get a lot of feedback about objectives and how some maybe are balanced a bit differently between each of them. So timers and progress bars are now scaled per difficulty, so that means that on Platinum you may see 10% or 20% increase on some of your timers. That means you're gonna have to work a little bit harder, work together, try different strategies. We've been playing a lot of upload and hack on Platinum, and it requires a totally different way of thinking, which is a lot of fun. I think it's players that are in that realm are going to have to think about things a little bit differently going forward, which is
Well,
nice.
the device now, it's not a case of you do all 3 within the timer. They each one has a timer now, so that's been changed up. They're ticking bomb. You got to get over to them, and you got to be paying attention to the objective.
We saw a lot of feedback from players saying, hey, if you start off with 3 or 5 minutes on a device, there's no incentive to go get the devices done unless you're just trying to complete your mission fast. And that left with a feeling of a lack of urgency. If you think of, whether you're watching a TV show, a movie, or maybe even a real life scenario where there's something about to detonate, you generally want to deal with that quickly. You don't want to leave that just laying off to the side. So we've kind of introduced what we think of as like the old arcade racer timer, which is we will give you a shorter period of time per device, and then it will reset. And so we put a little bit more audio cues in there to say, get there quickly, get it done, move to the next one. So we're hoping a lot of people will have a lot of fun with this. We've been having a blast. It puts a little bit more urgency, a little bit more like chaos into the mix, but it means the wave goes faster, which I think ultimately will help people get through it and then get back, and buy more packs and get more cool stuff. So,
well, and 2 other ones we've heard a ton of stuff about have been upload and hack.
Yes.
Upload has typically been really, really hard, especially if you're the last guy on your team, and hack, people have seen it as a little too easy. So, when we hear something's too easy, something's too hard, we do something about it.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe Twitch chat here can tell us. We've heard a little bit of feedback about this, just a little bit. People were pretty passionate about whether hack and upload were in the right spot. So yeah, the upload depletion rate has been reduced. You can, if you all walk out, and this is what I was talking about with Platinum, there are going to be times in Platinum where you're going to essentially have to vacate the premises to let the Fiend or the Blaze Hydra, as we'll talk about in a moment, get out of there. Just get out, kite them away from the area, and then get back in. And that's all based on, you can do that now with the depletion rate being lower. You don't have to worry about if I leave, it's gone in a few seconds. It's going to take time for that to actually drop. So it changes the strategies. It adds a whole new way of playing, and it's been a ton of fun for us to play over the last few weeks. So.
Well, and now for hack, you have to zone, because
Yes.
hack can be contested.
Absolutely.
So it does. If you're letting enemies into that and you aren't holding your ground, you're not going to progress that
Absolutely.
far anymore.
We giveth and we taketh is what we say. And so as a balance, we saw this a lot from feedback from players saying, if there was one objective that should be contested, maybe hack made more sense. And so we've done that change. But again, we've adjusted the ratios of depletion and whatnot to be in line with upload. So upload and hack are a little bit closer. But overall, you'll find that you're able to control those spaces differently now. So,
and lastly, big changes to assassination. This one was also requested after from the boss wave we had, way back in the start of multiplayer.
Yeah, if those who've been with us since launch, we introduced boss wave in the very first, second week of live service, and so we said, we had a lot of fun. We introduced the Behemoth, which is the Exalted Krogan. And we didn't really have something equivalent for the Remnant and the Outlaws at the time. So we've gone in, we've added brand new creatures. You'll find a Remnant Progenitor. I don't want to spoil all the fun with him, but he shoots something totally different at you, which I'm sure people will absolutely love us for. I cannot wait for my Twitter to explode with people telling us how much we hate freedom, but it's a lot of fun. And the brand new Blaze Hydra. This is an incredibly fast-moving Hydra with really fast tracking. You've got to work together, draw his eye in different directions, and he's a ton of fun. But on top of all that, we said, okay, well, if we're gonna make targets for enemies, they shouldn't just be a standard enemy. That doesn't feel special. So you'll also notice that if you go into a boss objective now, you'll see some of the standard enemies have been augmented a little bit. They have a kind of a purple nameplate or name bar there, and that'll just tell you they have a little bit more health, they have a little bit more damage resistance, and they're a little bit more resistant to Cobra RPGs. So Cobra RPGs are still very powerful, but these specific enemies are a little bit more resistant to them. So, and last but not least, because we've made all these things a little bit more challenging on that end, we felt that 4 was a little bit too much. It extended the length of those waves a little bit too long. So we've shrunk it down to 3. We'll watch that. If we feel that the balance can be adjusted more, we'll take feedback on that. So obviously, the more we see players giving feedback, we'll take a look at that. So That covers objectives.
So you mentioned there's a couple of new enemies. Music Freak 007, wondering if those new enemy types are in all difficulties or just platinum.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of these in all difficulties. In platinum, they will definitely make more of an appearance, and you'll see combinations of those. I can tell you right now, we're still playing with a lot of the balance and the wave structures for platinum. We've got it in a place where we're pretty happy, but we'll continue to watch. But I know for right now, the remnant version of platinum has a combination of bosses that is a little bit different than everything else. So there's some interesting stuff going on there.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the balance that's happened to powers.
Yeah.
Changes that have gone in there, because there's been quite a few. And once you get the notes, you'll see there's a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And we won't go into exact numbers one by one because there's a ton here. Once we get these into the blog right after the stream, you can kind of comb through those, but we'll give some high-level details. Concussive shot, we did a bunch of damage increases here, so you'll see this is one that we saw a lot of players saying, hey, I really like concussive shot, and I love my soldiers. Human soldier is actually one of the most played kits. Again, it carries over from Mass Effect 3. It's a very adaptable class, and I think a lot of players that are coming over from other games find that it's very easy to jump in and play. But concussive shot also has a place with the new Batarian Scrapper, so we had to make sure that that was all balanced out. Flamethrower, this is one that comes up a lot actually. Not only the direct damage, but also there's the damage over time. There's slight bumps to that, so it makes it a little bit more viable power. For me, who I love playing the Tyrian agent, again, just makes him a little bit more viable going forward. And again, a lot of what we're going to talk about here is knowing that we had to get characters to a little bit better place going into platinum. So think of that. You'll see that as we, and I get this question a lot, both in Reddit and Twitter, but whenever we do some adjustments to powers, we often will give you a free respec, because we know that if we've adjusted something, you may have said, you know what, now that change has been made, I wouldn't have spec that way, I want to go this way. Don't fear not. Whenever we do these changes, we always make sure to include a free respec.
So whenever you log in today, you might see a list, a message that pops up that says, these characters have all been reset, and that's coming in through this patch. That's normal. Just go in. You can re-level those kits, re-look at the powers, and see how you want to build them.
Exactly. Yeah, and the reason for this actually, I think there's 6 or 7 characters you'll see that message for today. We increased anti-shield and anti-armor damages specifically with concussive shots, so that'll be a huge bonus to them.
And Arco Mega asking, are the changes live already? Yep,
they are.
These changes
absolutely.
are live. They're in the game right now, so you can go play it if you want. And we will have these notes up in about another 20 minutes, so you can read through them in greater detail, get all the numbers, fill out your new spreadsheets, start working on those new build guides.
I cannot wait to see what shows up on Reddit today with the new build guides. So, we'll have the notes up right after the stream. We'll try to keep it high level, like I said, for now, and we'll let you guys comb through it afterwards. But
so high level, frag grenade, bigger explosion,
bigger, lots more damage. Yeah, there you go. One that's not specific to MP, but we included it in the patch notes. It's Apex training passive. So this is focused on aerial combat and special combat training. You'll see that you get more combo bonus as well. So look for that. That's specific to single player. So. On tech powers, assault turret, I know we get a lot of questions about this with the Omni-Link, so we've increased the radius. It goes from 6 to 10. That's one I wanted to call out specifically for numbers, because that is a short link that was before. Now it nearly doubles, right? So a big boost there. And we've done some adjustment to cryo bullet and flamethrower. Again, kind of bring flamethrower on the turret more in line with what flamethrower can do as a separate power. Fortify, one of the big ones we always get is, for the movement penalty, the damage resistance wasn't necessarily where we thought it should be, or where players would like to see it be. So we've done some adjustments there. You'll see boost to not only the unmoving defense, but also just how fast you're taking damage. The resistance is much stronger now. So I shouldn't say much, but it's stronger. You'll feel it.
You'll feel it.
Absolutely. Tactical cloak and stealth grid both got damage bonuses, so look for that if you're looking for duration and also the amount of damage to get the boost out of that. So if you're a stealthy character or you're using stealth grid as teamwork, trust me, that is going to be very powerful going into platinum. You'll see that. And tactical cloak, we saw the recloak time changes a little bit as well.
So an old question, but from Andros de Martil Angel of Death. I guess
Yeah,
asking about
yeah.
veteran rank bonuses, whether those start getting applied to only once you have the max manifest, the same way that the Bulwark does, or
Yeah, so the only way, not actually max manifest, but if the only way to get the veteran bonus is to get to essentially rank 11. So if you have a rank 10 soldier, now you'll get rank 11. That adds tier 1 of veteran bonus. So again, it will only affect the characters that are already at that top tier. So it's essentially extending progression. We know there's some players looking for that. Other players will have, you know, some other issues to deal with. But we felt overall this is one of the best ways we can take the characters you already know and love and make them more viable heading into Platinum. So. And I see a question: are we streaming from Edmonton? Absolutely.
we are streaming from sunny Edmonton.
Yeah. See if maybe we can borrow some of Connor McDavid's money later today. You know, I saw he did pretty well. So
He did.
Did pretty well yesterday.
But not a hockey stream.
Not a hockey
Different
stream.
kind of
Yeah,
balance. So
Right.
let's talk about the Remnant VI
Yeah.
as well. That got more boosts. I mean, you can't boost the assault turret and not boost.
Yeah.
Sparky.
So he got a little. Yeah. Yeah. I love Glick. He's great. He is very powerful right now, and so we're giving him a little bit more beam damage. He goes up from 30 to 50, so that's great. But we also dropped a few things with the rank 2 and the rank 5. So just making sure that like he scales a little bit smoother. He doesn't go straight up to OP right out of the gate. So still very powerful. Still a very viable kit at gold, and even into platinum, he's we won't lie, the Solarian Architect, while one of my favorite kits, is a little bit on the squishy side. So
it's making sure that he doesn't. He's not OP.
Yes, we're just keeping him in a little bit better range there. So yeah. Now into biotics, Lance gets a pretty big boost. We're seeing that. We had a lot of people say, hey, Lance never seems like the right choice against throw, especially if you're looking at some kits like.
He's my least favorite member of InSync.
Yeah, sorry, Lance Bass, but I know he was really big into space, but sorry.
So base damage from 350 up to 400.
Yeah, you're gonna see that. We gave a little bit more aim assist as well because it was originally designed as almost like a skill shot, but we saw more and more feedback that when you get into practical play and use, choosing Lance over say throw, if you're choosing one stat to really dump your points into, Lance always seemed to kind of side on the lower side, so we wanted to make it a little bit more viable as a choice across the board. So look for that. Nova, we got a little bit more damage across anti-armor, anti-shield, and seismic damage got a bump as well. So, and one of the ones that I wanted to call attention to, because it took a lot of flack in the early days, was Shockwave. Shockwave was a lot of times people saying, well, that's the one you leave at 1 point, and sorry, Shockwave.
If you could get that 1 point back, you would.
You would take it and you'd spend it on like a coffee or something, right? And I felt bad, and I was even flacking the team a little bit for a little while in early balance. We did a little bit of bump in patch 108, but we took it a little bit further. The damage, the base damage goes from 350 to 400. So you take Shockwave in its current state as of today with the damage boost, and then you put lift on it, and let me tell you, Shockwave went from being one of my I might put a couple points into it to now it's one of the points I absolutely spec into. So whether you're using a human adept or some of the other kits that will
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Reddit threads on how this build advice
exactly
is wrong.
Yeah, don't listen to the devs. We are wrong.
Test it out, see how it goes.
I know I once made a comment about specking for additional.
Those respec cards are now more common.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's going to make it a little easier.
To be fair, I know there's a lot of questions about this and saying like, hey, do the devs ever know what they're doing? Do we know? It's like we absolutely play the game tons, but we play to our styles, right? And I think that's one of the things I love about our game is that you can play to your style. If you are min-maxing, there's tons of guides that we see out there in Reddit, UBSN, social media, of YouTube. Tons of the time, go build this way, and every player has a different way of playing and different styles. So have fun. That's always the best thing to encourage.
When you got to balance for all players, right?
Exactly, right.
For everyone who is at the top of their game, there is somebody who is in the lower end of the game who's they're just enjoying themselves either way, and you got to make sure that it's fun for everyone.
Absolutely, and I think that's something we always have to stress, is that we know there's a lot of players that are out there and they're absolutely excited by the idea of platinum, and there are people who pinged me over the last couple of days as we kind of teased platinum the last few days. We're like, I'm still playing at bronze. I do not even want to think about a platinum
It's
difficulty.
like, you know what?
And we said, absolutely, that's fine. Like whatever you feel is right for you, that's what we want you to play. So, and the new content here will do wonders to help the people who are at bronze become more successful or move into into silver and so on. So, or if you've been playing silver and you go, I want to get into gold, a lot of this content will help to do that. So. Just to finish up on biotics real quick, Singularity, we saw some additional bumps there, some pretty sizable ones, so look for that if you've been a Singularity user. I think you're going to see that becomes a very, very powerful power going forward. So, and throw, one of the things that came up a lot in the feedback coming out of patch 108, we thought we caught everything. We always try to catch everything in testing, but one of the things that did get broken temporarily was the increasing combo detonation damage on throw. So rank B or 6B for throw has been addressed. You'll see that fixed in today's patch notes. So, and last but not least is Annihilation. There was definitely an issue that we saw a lot of feedback in after patch 108, where and even around patch 106, where we saw that if you equipped or activated Annihilation, it sometimes took a few seconds for some players to actually see the effects of Annihilation taking, act on enemies. So that's been fixed now. It was previously up to anywhere 5 seconds. We've got that. When you activate it, it's active now.
So let's talk now about weapons.
Yes.
Some of the balance to them.
Yeah.
I know we hear a lot about assault rifles. And
Yes. Yeah.
definitely some steps were taken with assault rifles this time around.
Absolutely. So, like we mentioned earlier, there's not only the new mods that'll help with accuracy. We did some bumps to accuracy in patch 108. In patch 109, we're focusing on a few of them specifically, but the Avenger S, the Falcon, and the Paw all see big damage increases. Just at their base damage all the way through to their rank 10. And that obviously carries forward into their variants or their evolutions in terms of Bulwark, Siphon, and Concussive. So again, once you get that level 10 or that rank 10 weapon, all those stats carry into that new version as well with the new passives. So again, yeah, Avenger, Falcon, you'll see some big boosts there. And the Falcon actually saw some increased clip size as well, and the explosion radius actually grows by about 50%, so you'll see that. Pistols, SMGs, I know a lot of people give us a lot of feedback that these are already quite powerful, but we did make some buffs to a few of them. The Charger S becomes a little bit more powerful. You see a damage bump on that. Sidewinder, we reduced the reload speed. A lot of people go, oh my goodness, you reduced the reload speed. Don't worry, it means it got shorter, not that we increased the time it takes to reload. It now is half the time to reload on a Sidewinder, and that makes it a true, almost like a 6-shooter again, which is a lot of fun. And its damage got quite a significant bump as well. You're looking around a 50% buff on the damage there. So, or sorry, total ammo. Sorry, ammo.
Not
Sorry,
the damage. You
damage,
got
yeah.
everyone
Sorry,
excited,
yeah,
but now they've got this.
The Sidewinder is
pistol.
a lot of fun right now, but yeah, it has a lot more ammo, 50% more ammo, and half the reload speed. So again, it's
your DPS is up because
yes,
of that reload
exactly.
speed,
You're seeing less time reloading, right? Which means you're just shooting.
Furiously trying to write down these numbers. Don't worry,
yeah.
we'll have all these numbers available for you after the stream.
Absolutely. I see Dean's asking about a specific weapon. We're going to get to that in a brief moment. We're going to go through them section by section. But yes, don't worry, Dean. I think you're going to like what we're going to show you. Eagle, we see a clip size increase from 18 to 24. Total ammo goes up as well. A decent bump there. Not a huge one, but enough that it makes the Eagle a competitive ultra rare now. And the Scorpion, one of my personal favorites, gets a pretty sizable bump as well on the damage. So
no bias there.
No bias. I may or may not have influenced that one, but I love the Scorpion. And because the Scorpion doesn't get things like concussive variant, we wanted to make sure that it just had a general good detonation there. So for those who aren't familiar with the Scorpion, it is essentially shooting a sticky grenade, so you can look for that. The Equalizer, again, another great pistol for me. I love it. It's, don't have to worry about ammo because it is essentially an overheating gun, but we increase the damage on that as well. So this one, I think a lot of people will have a lot of fun if you have an Equalizer. One of the things we didn't mention earlier today is that we also put Deeper Into the Ruins active again this weekend. A lot of people asked to bring it back. We put it in at silver, and I think the Equalizer will do fantastic in there if you have it. You don't have to worry about running down to those tricky ammo crates, but make sure you do Deeper Into the Ruins. We'll talk about that in a moment, but yeah, make sure you complete Deeper Into the Ruins.
A couple of people, Uncle Monster Real, and a few others asking about the new weapons variants of
Yeah.
Bulwark, Siphon, and and concussive. Now, are there multiple levels of those? Can
Yes.
you get each level for each weapon?
Absolutely.
How does it work?
Yeah, so it's effectively 30 cards there. So you can get the Bulwark 1 through 10, you can get the Concussive 1 through 10, and the Siphon 1 through 10. They essentially take the rank 10 weapon of its type and then adds additional bonuses of its passive stat. So whether it's Bulwark, which is damage resistance, you're going to see damage resistance scale up over those 10 ranks. And of course, it ranks in two different ways. If you have one person next to you, you get a little bit of damage resistance. If you have two, a bunch more. And if you have all four of you kind of together, you're seeing a huge damage resistance bump there. So there's a lot to get there, but they're going to be incredibly valuable. You'll see right now, if you go into Platinum with your current gear, you're going to really have to work for it. These things make you much more viable, and that's true of the veteran bonus
And
as
these
well.
don't come in until you have rank 10
Exactly.
of the cards.
You
You're not going to
don't-
see them showing
yeah.
up in your first levels of any of the weapons.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to worry about it affecting the pool for any weapons that you haven't acquired yet. You have to get to rank 10 to get these to start unlocking. So
And I know I see a few people saying, well, that's a ton of more cards, but also as we mentioned earlier, and as you can see in the full notes, in the equipment that we have available to you, we've made it easier to get packs, and you can get them now. There's 2 daily challenges per day. That's 60 mission funds. You
60
can get
mission funds per day.
You can now use those mission funds to buy some of these packs.
Yeah, exactly. You're basically looking at if you do 2 days of two daily challenges, you have enough to go buy a rare weapon or character or mod, whatever that pack is in the item store that day. Every second day you can buy another one if you want. So
well, that's enough math for now. Let's move on to some more of the weapons.
Yeah, we'll get through these weapons quick. Shotguns for scatter shot, we just increased the damage there. It got a pretty decent bump. So again, it was not a charge weapon, but it's an overheat weapon, so it gives a little bit more damage, a little bit more viable. That you get more damage per shot. The big one I know a lot of people had questions about was the Rieger carbine. I love using the weapon, but we had a lot of folks that were telling us they were having some problems with it on PC specifically. We've not only fixed the PC performance issues, you should see that. It's kind of just covered in general in the improved stability notes. If you don't see it, don't worry, it is covered. And we've increased the damage from 58 to 70 as the base range, up to 90 to 108. So this is a pretty significant jump. You're looking at almost double on the starting point, right? So, or roughly 50% increase, sorry, on the starting point. So that covers shotguns. Now, sniper rifles. I know a lot of people have had questions about a certain one. We'll get to that very quickly. The Viper S, we increased damage up. It went from 552 up to 610 to 732. Indra, we dropped a little bit. It was just a small drop. It just wasn't fitting in. It was kind of punching above its class, and it didn't really leave a good space for some of the other weapons. So we pulled that down, and especially with the changes we did with the kick and the bloom for the shots on the Indra, this kind of brings it back to where it's meant to be.
The Black Widow.
Black Widow. A lot of people love this gun. One of my personal favorites. I've said very openly, I'm not a huge sniper player, but starting in Mass Effect 3 when we introduced the Black Widow, and even here when I've unlocked it now in Mass Effect Andromeda, it's one of the few sniper rifles I enjoy using, but it wasn't living up to its legend, and so we wanted to do that. So it's increased. I'm going to go into the numbers on this one. Increased damage goes from base start previous to the patch was 771 to 891 at rank 10. It now starts at 900 and goes to 1041 on base damage. So it's a monster. You still get your 3 shots, and it's got an increased weak point multiplier from 1.7 to 2. So again, if you're hitting headshots with this thing,
it's going to live up to its name.
Yes,
It is the Black Widow now.
I could tell you right now, to your point earlier, if you can unlock the Black Widow, I know a lot of people are working on their ultra rares right now with the packs that are in the store. Hopefully that'll help you too. But and with playing Platinum, you'll be getting enough credits per match to buy a premium pack out of the gate, or an Arsenal pack specifically. But when you throw a Black Widow with concussive on there, it's incredible. This is one of my favorite guns in the entire game right now. So to anyone who gets it, show me your videos, show me your YouTube videos. I want to see this. This is such an amazing gun now.
Rob Datchy wondering if it outperforms the Vanquisher now?
It should. With skilled play, the Black Widow should outpace virtually almost everything else in the game, in my opinion. That's an opinion. It's not mathematical, but the Black Widow is back to being the legendary gun that it was meant to be. Um, I'm a Hurricane fan, so I'm gonna go with the Hurricane more times than not. But the Black Widow is definitely in the space it should be now. So the Naladin, we changed a bit of damage distribution, so area of effect ratio is a little bit changed. We'll let you guys take a look at the notes on that. And the Shadow, we slowed down the recharge rate a little bit. It was a beast. We still wanted to be very powerful, but we slowed down the recharge a little bit on that one. So, all right.
And the last one is the Shadow there.
Yeah, so we just changed up the recharge on that.
Okay.
So if you remember, a lot of folks were using that in the 11 wave match. It is a headshot monster. It still is. It just means that the ability to fire off as many shots, it's pulled down a little bit because it recharges a little bit different.
So let's talk about some of the equipment changes.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So Juggernaut Shield, we've played around with this a little bit. When it first started, it was probably a little bit overpowered. We made a lot of adjustments in patch 108 to kind of adjust for just melee in general, so we were able to pull a little bit more of that out of the Juggernaut Shield, but we increased the bonus there to 20%, so putting a little bit back into there, making sure it's in a better spot. So if you've got the Juggernaut Shield, look for it to actually become a little bit better than where it was last week. Shield Enhancer bonus, as a result, has also gone up to 30%. It was originally meant to be 30%. It launched at 15. We've corrected for that. One of the ones that got a lot of traction in the last couple weeks, because it went live, I believe, about 2-3 weeks ago now, was the Revive Pack Transmitter. And we got a lot of feedback about this, that it served a very specific use, but it wasn't useful to a lot of players just based on what it was. So we've gone back to it, we reworked it. The design team said, let's make this a lot more fun, a lot more usable, and this is really critical, I think, for a lot of players going into Platinum initially. If you've got it, awesome. If you haven't, with the new rotation, you have a better chance of it showing up again. But Revive Pack Transmitter became Supply Pack Transmitter. And what this means is that it effectively doubles or duplicates the effects of First Aid, Revive, Ammo, and Cobra effectiveness. So if you are using a First Aid pack, the Ops pack, and you boost it, you'll see now a big yellow bubble that kind of bursts out and shows you the radius of who you're impacting, but you'll basically give health back to other team members.
Yes, class.
You are truly a support class. Absolutely. You are support. You can also revive your other teammates, which was what it originally did, but that's there as well. And ammo packs is really helpful too, where you go, I'm going to deploy ammo to everybody who's around me. So ammo becomes incredibly useful in some of these new matches. Especially on Platinum. Right now there are 7 waves. There will be 11 wave missions coming. Stay tuned for those. But when it happens, you're also going to see that we've introduced new match modifiers, and one of them is not the limited supply that we had, where you had no ammo boxes, but 800% ammo out of the gate. We've now got a match modifier that says you can only go to each box once, or a set number of times. So it changes the entire strategy of how you go through a map, how you touch up on those touch points of the ammo boxes. These things become incredibly valuable at that point, so look for those in the future. And of course, we did make some adjustments to the Cobra missile, or the Cobra RPG. It's kind of more universal across all enemy types now. It doesn't do extra damage to weak points like it previously did, so you don't have to worry about only shooting, say, a destroyer when it opens up its chest piece. You can shoot it any time. It does a straight damage value. It scales with difficulties and things like that. But the bonus to the the supply pack transmitter is that it also increases the radius of the Cobra RPG by 50%. So that's for everybody who shoots it while that's active. So that's pretty huge. All right.
So someone's asking if you can stick everyone with transmitters and refill the Cobra. So it doesn't refill the Cobra.
Yeah.
What it does is it improves the radius of
Yes.
the Cobra RPG by 50%. So
Correct.
The situation, your team's pinned down, you got one of those blaze hydras charging
Yep.
at you, fire the supply pack transmitter, someone bursts off that RPG,
Yep.
dealing that extra damage,
It's huge.
saving everyone's butts.
Yeah, I know when we first started balancing for a lot of for Platinum internally, some of us would take the supply pack transmitter, and then we actually started saying, okay, well, now we have to balance without it, and we went back and forth. But ultimately, if you're just taking your first steps into Platinum, the supply pack transmitter will be a huge boost for you
And
as a
for
team. So.
Yanrang, no, it's only whenever it's active that
Yeah.
it gives you these extra boosts. It's
Absolutely.
not an always on effect.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll jump into now some
Let's talk
quality
about
of life.
some quality of life.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll do some quick quality of life improvements. This doesn't always get called out in the patch notes as clearly, but we wanted to bring some attention to it. A lot of folks have told us, hey, you've introduced things like daily challenges, but I had no idea they were there. So we've put a little new marker on the menus there to tell you that there's a new one. Go check it out. This is true of the store, for item store challenges, the works. So you can also hit read all, or read all, to say, hey, I've seen them all. I'm done for the day. Don't tell me more. Next day they'll return as new things come up, but it's there. We've adjusted the visuals for nameplates. This is something that came up a lot. Something we wanted to do too. We were trying to always balance the legibility of the text that sits on top of the nameplate versus the art that's behind it. But now you'll see with bronze, they stay roughly where they are. They get a little bit of a bump of color, but it's still largely muted. As you get to the silver or the uncommons, you'll see a little bit more color kind of popping in there. And as you get to gold, you should be at a full color. So if you have a gold nameplate, you're gonna actually see that color kind of shine through. It's a much nicer experience. So
That's, you can also now. We can also flip the lock cards, the collection screens.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Exactly. One of the things that we've always wanted to do, and we had to kind of like, keeping it within the priority list of things we were trying to fix, but a lot of players would say, hey, I see this collection, and especially now, it's very important where we introduce a whole bunch of new weapon variants, a whole new bunch of equipment. If I can't read what it is or how to get it, it makes it tougher to figure out what to do.
Missing.
Yeah, how do I accomplish this, right? So if you go in and you say, hey, I just saw there's a brand new bulwark weapon, and I don't know what that means, you can go in there into the collection, even if it's locked, press A or X or cross if you're on PlayStation, whatever button you've mapped on PC, and you can rotate or flip the card, and you can also flip to the description. It'll tell you not only the effect it has, it tells you a little bit of the lore of it, and it tells you how to unlock it. So all that's in there. And I know we didn't cover it here. I believe it's in the notes that it'll go live, but I'll bring it up right away. Some folks noticed that we've introduced things like skin tones.
You know
on
what?
the characters.
Why don't we jump right
Yeah.
in? Let's show
jump
off.
over
Let's
here.
show off the Batarian and let's show
Yeah.
this. Now we'll have. I know this was a ton of notes to go through. There is
Yes.
a lot of information. We're going to have that right up on the BioWare blog right away. I believe it'll be going live shortly. So we'll throw a link in the chat if that happens in the next 5 minutes or so.
Yep.
And you can read through all these numbers yourself. But let's see this in action.
Yeah, and maybe Sean, if you don't mind, maybe we'll show the Batarian Scrapper trailer really quickly as we flip to gameplay, let players take a quick look at who he is before we jump in. So.
Attention Apex Forces, Kandros here. Let me introduce you to our newest Apex recruit. He's a little unconventional, but who of us isn't? Okay, yes, he's a Batarian, I know, but hear me out. He's a KG fighter, in my opinion, one of the best. And yes, he got his training with one of the most notorious pirate gangs in the Milky Way, but he got tired of that life. So he and a buddy turned evidence on the boss over to the Alliance in exchange for asylum. The Alliance got their bad guy, and our Batarian Scrapper got a shot at a new life in Andromeda. He's a huge asset, punches like a machine, so let's make him feel at home, and maybe give him a little extra space, just in case. Kandros out.
All right, so let's hop right in there and let's check out the new Batarian. Obviously, once the loading screen
We're
is
just waiting
done.
for loading. There's a lot of new stuff to load in today.
But yeah, there is a new in the customization. Last
Yes.
time you got the lights, you can change the color on that. Now this
Absolutely.
time for the aliens,
Yeah.
there's a skin tone.
Yeah,
style.
exactly. So there you go. This is a quick summary for those who are just jumping in today. I love the tile art that we do. It's all in that kind of dark horse art style. So there's that. If we go into, let's go to character customization. I've got my Batarian Scrapper equipped. You can see I've got my Concussive Ghost. I'm going to use that one today. I've got the Kishok as well. I'm going to probably throw another mod on here before we jump into gameplay. But you can see here a skin tone. And this, we can slide it over if we want.
So we're able to keep him as the bone white ghoul for Dreadlord look, or
if we want, yeah. But you can flip through this. This is gonna generally only affect the alien characters that don't have helmets on. So look for that if you have any kits that you're like, hey, I would like to make some modifications here. There you go. So I hope I kept him relatively in line with your aesthetic there. He's got some awesome armor. We've never used the Ket armor from the solo campaign in a multiplayer character yet, so he's monstrous. He's just, yeah. You'll see why he's got this armor. He punches like as the machine, punches like a machine, as Tyrion Candro said. I like to think, yeah, he's just a monster. He comes in, he punches, and he hits really, really hard. So I'm going to quickly equip. You can see here, these are some of the new barrels as well. So again, you get a little bit of a trade-off. You get additional damage. So right now it's only 1. It'll rank up over time. So again, don't worry about these appearing if you don't want to deal with these. They're only in the item store, but we got those. So I'm going to go with that magazine because I do like having a little bit more there. We had expert package last week. I'm losing track of time here. We're going to quickly to the store because I want to show this really quick to players. We've got a whole bunch of stuff here with the 3 here. Technically the 4th, we already own it, so it won't show you when you already own what's available, but there should be 2 rare and 2 uncommon per week. So we got the mental focuser, it's brand new, and commando package is brand new, and warfighter package is brand new. So if you've got a kit that you like to use combat powers and weapon damage, so this is great for something like a soldier or a Turian, awesome. So and one of the things that we don't show here, we'll probably update it on a little bit later, but oh, there it is. So we had a lot of folks ask about it. It was meant to be at the very top, so depending on when you load in, it'll be at the very top or in the second slot here. You can only buy one of these. This is just something we wanted to try out. We had a lot of good feedback with players where they said, hey, I want this. This is a means to get a guaranteed ultra rare. So if you have a lot of credits, this will be available until Monday morning, the standard time frame that we use for missions. But you say, that's a little bit out of my range. I can't get to that. Don't worry. There's a challenge that is active right now. You can go here and you can go do the challenge for, I'm going to have to find it, but there should be the mission to go get a deeper into the ruins. You'll see it in the mission list. And once you do that, you'll get yourself a free pack. So there you go. So that's awesome. People want to get back into there, and there you go. You can see we got our new missions showing up for Platinum as well. And again, if you look at this, 10% experience, 10% credit boost, plus 15 mission funds instead of the standard 10. 10% experience bonus on top of the going rate for Platinum. You're going to end up around 130 to 150 on credits per match. So you're going to be a good place.
And for those of you in the chat, in case you didn't see it, the multiplayer notes have been posted. So
there
if you go over and check on blog.bioware.com, you can read those out and see the number changes for yourself.
Yeah. I'm going to quickly show. So we got, we haven't updated the collection screen, so we'll get that sorted out. But there you go. We got 2 daily challenges going at a time. So again, new markers are here. Just let it sit for a second and go. And so again, 60 mission credits, mission funds per day. That's going to start stacking up really good. So
all right, so let's jump into a match.
Yeah,
with the Scrapper.
We're going to go into the Scrapper. We're going to run today's mission. This is the story mission, the call from inside. There you go. We're going to do some go for the eyes, some weak point damage. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, wait, like, you're going to play. We've got some additional messaging here for players too. If you've had problems with connections, we want you to know that that's what's going on. So look for that. You can see here also my nameplate is a little bit more gold, color shining through a little bit better. And actually, one thing before we really get going, I do want to show this. Here's the veteran bonus. So it's at 39% boost on everything. It's 39, 40% depending on the character, but that's a huge bonus all of a sudden to not only my power damage, my combo detonation damage, and my melee damage. So with this character with melee, huge. So I don't think we're gonna throw. Maybe we'll throw a booster on. We'll throw some progression on because we're gonna rank him up. And I'm using assault rifle. We don't need anything too crazy just because we already got a crazy
you're taking
gun.
a level 20 kit into bronze.
We've
not
got
doing platinum right now.
Yeah,
so why don't you try solo?
Yeah, he's technically level 1, but he's rank 20. So yeah, he's got a fair bit of power on him. We'll jump in if you guys want to jump in. It's open. It's Apex Tyrion Candros is the kit. So let's jump in and try it out. It's hyper shields too. So I will probably be a little bit squishy. We'll see. We'll see.
You're gonna have to use all of those revives.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't throw on any equipment. I probably should have, but yeah, if I had my supply pack transmitter, that'd have been great. So. All right. So you can see this. I wanted to bring attention to this too because this week's mission is focused on Magma. It's an existing map. We haven't really gone here too much in terms of the mission system as far as the weekly missions. But next week and the week after, there will be 2 brand new maps for the month of July. And at the end of the month, we will include both of those into the standard rotation. So,
Blazing Lord Soul wondering why we know Platinum this week. We will get around to showing Platinum on the stream. Billy is probably not our best horse to prepare for it. Neither am I.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't get the full headshot on that last
Bastion is currently out on.
There we go.
There you go.
So you can see, be careful if there's an explosive canister nearby. But yes, let's go like this, and I'm gonna die. But boom, detonating punches are awesome. There's your detonating round as well. So if you can get enemies clustered together, if you have someone who's throwing, you know, maybe a singularity out there, and you can still hit your weak point shots on it. Whew, it's gonna be great.
That's the concussive variant you're running
This is the concussive.
So that's why they're blowing up.
There you
off
go.
these headshots.
Yeah, this is a concussive ghost. We're gonna go help our friend there.
Matabar wondering about a Billy Platinum death counter. I mean,
yeah.
Billy Bronze death counter.
That's a real thing.
Almost
Could
enough
happen.
to make him
Yeah,
go broke.
absolutely.
You'd want to counter for the amount of time he's alive on Platinum.
Yeah, maybe. I'm using the
Sean,
wrong.
that was
there we
mean.
go.
You know, true though.
Yeah, you know, keep
being honest,
an
man.
active count of like consecutive seconds alive, essentially, and it will probably top at around 4. There you go. So again, you can see it's just super fun to use. If you get a bunch of enemies that are stacked together, this is going to be amazing. So
And you can definitely see how the veteran kits are designed for Platinum by the way that Billy is an absolute monster.
I'm just soaking damage like crazy. Technically, he's a heavier kit, so he does soak a bit more damage. I'm not using any gear for him, but the veteran bonuses, yeah, like anything I punch will go away essentially.
Music Freak, yes, this gun explodes things. This is the concussive variant, so
yes.
whenever you hit somebody with a weak point kill shot, they blow up.
Yep. It's a lot of fun, and especially on today where we have increased weak point damage as the mission modifier for not only the bronze story mission, but for the platinum mission. I think folks who land some concussives today will have an absolute blast, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and wow, terrible puns.
Yeah,
but
I bring the dad jokes.
Somebody is saying, Wavebend did say, you know, that seems OP, and it's, you know,
It
on bronze, it's a little
absolutely
overpowered,
is.
but
Yeah.
these are platinum design kits. These are, you can only get these variants after you have a gun to level 10.
Yeah.
And so they're meant for high level play. They're meant for going against stuff much tougher than bronze.
Yeah, I think if you think what, you know, a lot of players have asked us for a while now, hey, I want to feel more powerful. I want to be the monster. I want to be the biotic god. These new adjustments to the scaling of difficulty, but also to the power we give you as a player through the new weapons, the veteran bonuses, they will make you that. You will go into Platinum with, say, a rank 20 character with a rank 10 bulwark weapon, and you will be a monster. You will still have to work together to defeat the enemies, but you will be able to have that survivability to offset the incoming damage, and you'll be able to work together to you know, dismiss enemies much faster with
Well,
new
you can
tools,
also
right?
get the, you know, the siphon version. It's also
Siphon
great for
is
if you're going to be
awesome.
soloing.
Yeah.
Getting those siphon hits to get your health back makes you much tankier as any of those
Absolutely. So
kits.
now this is a good time to switch to hack because we're going to want to go to a stationary position and then sit there essentially. So I'm going to bust out the Kishok. I'm not the best at this, so I apologize in advance for anyone who's like, oh my, he's not that great with Kishok. Absolutely true. It was true in Mass Effect 3 as well, so I apologize
did see
in
someone
advance.
asking if this gun can pin people to walls. No,
no,
but it does.
It
leave
bleeds over
that
time,
nice
yeah.
thing,
And you
know,
see that,
arrow
that
right in the head.
harpoon straight to the face, yeah. And it bleeds over time, so you charge it up. Oh, that one got... we had Rubber Ducky doing some damage there, but yeah, if you hit it, it can either go straight for the kill or it can get the damage over time with the bleed out. So it's a little bit different, doesn't pin, but it does some additional dot, so... Oh, I I missed the shoulder.
Oh.
Missed the shoulder,
Yo,
folks.
You had it.
You get to see it if
Yeah,
Billy
if
can
I could hit
one
it,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and honestly, a lot of folks will ask, hey, it seems weird to introduce a scrapper, which is essentially now, a very close quarters, close proximity targeting kit, and then introduce a sniper rifle with them. Absolutely, we're aware of that. It is more about the thematic tone. We wanted to introduce a Batarian weapon, and with the Batarians, right? This is the most iconic Batarian weapon that we've had in the franchise, and we wanted to bring it back for that reason. So I'm gonna just have to let it go. I hit my teammate there. I'm sorry, teammate. But I'll switch back. The concussive weapons are seriously some of my favorites. So let's detonate some things.
Is it your favorite because it's easier to hit with? An assault rifle?
Absolutely. I hide none of these problems. I am absolutely an AR / pistol or SMG player. That's true of all shooters. As a controller player and a lefty, I find that I need a little bit more spray and pray than maybe some. So,
Return of the Max is
There you go.
asking if. Back to his question here. Whoa. What is a glowing bar when zoomed in on the key
oh, that's the charge up. So to get full damage, you just have to charge that up. One thing we're not showing here, a lot of people ask, like, hey, there's a bunch of different like status effects things that we show or don't show in various situations. If you have like a bulwark weapon, it'll have like a soft glow around your character. I missed that.
He was standing forever, and you decided to shoot after he ducked out.
Yeah, waited to the last possible second.
And you can fire it from the hip. It just does less damage. if you
Yeah,
do that.
exactly. So let's punch this guy and show him. There we go. Sorry.
Boom.
Sorry, Krogan. Batarian wins this round. There we go. So let's watch. You can see his health just depleting as the bleed. And it goes for a number of seconds after. I think it's 4 seconds max. So you hit someone in a weak point, and they can still continue to do weak point damage over that time. So I saw a question. Can you equip a Siphon Hurricane and a Bulwark Hurricane at the same time? Absolutely, and I love it. It is awesome. If you're like, oh my, I'm in a hack and I need to just be damage resistant heavy here, go nuts. And then if you want to go on to the offensive and use like a Siphon or a Concussive, you can absolutely carry 2 of the same gun, and it's a ton of fun. In fact, right before the stream, I had the Hurricane Concussive and the Hurricane Bulwark equipped, thinking I might run those just as my favorites, but we thought, no, we should definitely put on the new gear. So.
And Berserker Quatch, which I guess is some kind of Berserk Sasquatch, is asking if the new Apex Elite pack, if you can only buy it one time this week, or if it's going to be there in the future.
That's a good question. Right now, it's one time for this week only. We wanted to try it out, see what folks thought about it. You can earn one of them for free, and then you can also buy one essentially with mission funds, or sorry, with multiplayer credits. So if you want, it's there. If you don't, you can still earn one. And it's got we updated the description to show what it's actually meant to have. Last time when we put it up, it just said this is effectively a reward for completing the Deeper Into the Ruins mission. Now we've explained what it actually does, and it's a guaranteed ultra rare. It has a guaranteed 5 ultra rare boosters as well. I missed that.
After all that.
Yeah, waited and waited and waited. Yeah, it's a monster pack. It's really going to give you a great chance just by doing the challenge to get a new Batarian for yourself. If you've maxed your manifest, it's going to give you basically a great chance at either a weapon variant or the Kishok, which is an ultra rare. And it was really important for us with the Batarian to make him a rare. We wanted our players to get into there and have a chance to get him fairly quickly. We know that players have raised questions or concerns about the amount of ultra rares and how quickly to get them. So that's a big part of why the item store adjustments were made, but it's also balancing what things get unlocked when. So here you go, we got Boss Wave. You can see the purple name bar there. He disappeared quickly. Our team is on point.
PJ Amelia is saying, would it be mean to have a miscounter?
I was just thinking
I was
we
gonna
should
say,
get that
yeah,
miscounter.
it would be mean,
Oh
but,
my.
I mean,
Oh, you
'cause
got
I got it right in the eyeball. There you go. Sorry, bud. There
just
you
that's
go.
mean doesn't mean we should do it.
Yeah.
Really, right?
Okay. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff here. We hope a lot of players have fun with this. Like, I love this punch. If you prime for it, even better. Oh, he's frozen. He's gone. But I'm gonna. Oh, there you go.
Oh.
See, bronze, it can happen, folks. I'm absolutely aware that it can happen. Let's see if any of my teammates are gonna help me
No,
out.
I
no,
think
we're
he
gonna burn.
just purposely
I
jumped. He was beside
He
you
was like,
and he jumped away. He
no,
thought,
he's
you
like,
know what?
you made your mistakes.
This guy has done nothing but miss shots.
Miss shots over and
there's
over.
a Blaze
There's a
Hydra.
Blaze Hydra. So this guy, he means business. You gotta be very careful with him. He moves very, very fast.
And he's that Blaze red.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of black and purple. He's kind of like a pro pilot of the Hydra, so watch him. Into that sun there. There we go. So again, if you've unlocked a concussive, have a blast with them. They're so much fun. If you use the bulwarks, you're going to be great. You're going to be much more damage resistant. And then the siphon is a ton of fun too, where you get right in there and you're just stealing health constantly. So let's see if we can get in a minute with the brand new power here. We've brought back Snap Freeze. I know a lot of folks in the subreddit lately have been talking about the Snap Freeze build because there is a Snap Freeze evolution for Cryoblast, but now we've actually brought back Vintage. There you go. And see, it detonates, so it takes everything out. It's the best.
You know, double detonate.
The
there.
little double detonation. There you go. Let's see if we can take him out too. Boom. Detonations for days, folks. This is a ton. It's like a kid in a candy shop now with all these stuff. So I'm not sure if they're talking about Sean or May making an unacceptable mistake, or me. I'm going to associate it with my gameplay.
That's actually my brother. He just joined the stream.
Oh,
He's griefing me.
the
for,
shade. The
Shouldn't-
shade.
I was gonna
shouldn't
set
he
the
be
death
doing
counter,
his
but-
real job.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't you have a job,
Yeah,
brother?
yeah. Brother, please. Sean
Unnamed
brother.
Yeah.
Unnamed Sean brother.
Go back to
please.
building some buildings.
Yeah, jeez, man.
There you go. That individual enemy launched into the air. If you use lifting shockwave, it is insane now. Have a blast with it. There we go. Popping all the heads, detonating everything.
Really satisfying effect to watch.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun to play with. Like, there are very few combinations of power and weapon together that we've been able to do as cleanly as that, I think. And now, to me, those weapons, you bring a biotic kit, you prime everything, you do the detonation after the fact. It's
Well,
monster, and the detonation
as-
is max right now, right? 'Cause
As
I'm
you were
using a
saying
10 phase.
earlier too, you know, like, you know, if you don't want to play the super hard platinum with any of these,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of fun to take into lower difficulties and just
Absolutely.
goof around, just feel like a god.
Just wreck face, right? Like,
You
know,
can blame the times you get down by being like, I wasn't playing for serious.
yeah, it was just, you know, I was trying it out. So, but yeah, this is a ton of fun. We hope players, you know, get a chance to get in there, try the new guns. Again, it shouldn't affect any of your pool until you reach the rank 10 with that content. So, and you know, being able to do more melee, more combo, and more power damage with your kits, up to 40% boost on all of those things when you hit the rank 20 or tier 10 veteran bonus is huge. So.
Well, and having those new supply packs that you,
Yes,
that you
exactly,
can equip,
yeah.
and you have the transmitter, so you can actually help your team
Yeah.
and
A
give
lot.
them back ammo and health. Lots of
Absolutely.
ways to encourage you
Yeah.
to stick together as a group and really work together for platinum.
Yeah. So I'm seeing some folks mention no deeper into the ruins free pack. We will check on that right away. I'll follow up with the design team, but it should be active. If it's not, we'll make sure it gets sorted out today. So we do want players to have a chance to get that as a reward. So Rubber Ducky throwing down there, female soldier. Good job.
Alright, so let's do a quick
yeah.
summary of everything we talked about today. I know that there are a ton of things that we
Yes.
went through. Most important, we have the new kit, the Batarian Scrapper.
Yes.
Now available. Also comes with his gun, the Kishok sniper rifle.
Yep,
So that's
exactly.
a charge up, shoot, harpoon gun.
Yep.
And also having now new weapon variants.
Yes, absolutely. New variants there. You'll find those in your weapon selection. So you go here, you'll see it. They basically line up in all the different categories. So you can see here, name the same. So it's your same game, same weapons you know and love. They got some brand new skins on them to kind of reinforce what they're doing. So the hex shield there, and a little bit more you know, explosive, concussive look to it with the reverb there. Yeah, a ton of new content. Veteran bonus obviously is a big thing for players who
Get you up
get
to
in
that
there.
40% damage
Yes,
at rank
exactly.
10
You
to
can
make
see
you
here, yeah.
extra tough.
you're just
Extra soaky so that you can make it through platinum.
You're
through those 11 waves.
Oh, you're dealing so much more damage with your powers and your melee at that point. Combos are huge, and a big thing. And of course, we got 2 new maps that'll be showing up in the month of July. You probably saw little bits of those in the teasers. We have, I'll spoil a surprise for it. We have Firebase Vertigo, which is shown in the Batarian Scrapper video, and we have Firebase Nimbus that shows up in the teaser with the Batarian walking out for platinum. So look for those. That'll be July 13th and 20th. And on the 27th, they're going to both enter the full rotation. So
and also for all people, concerned about, well, this is a ton of new stuff. How am I going to get it? We've added lots of new ways in the item store for you to get this. There's 2 daily challenges getting you up to 60 mission funds per day, which you can use to buy some packs. You also are going to get 2 times the reward for finishing on platinum, if you can finish on platinum.
If you can finish it, and even if you don't, if you get a good way through, you're going to see a good chunk of rewards there. But platinum is going to be one of those difficulties that you're going to want to work together as a team. You're definitely going to want to make sure that you're playing together, you're talking to each other on headsets, you're coordinating your attacks. There's a lot of damage incoming. We've given you a lot of tools to go out there and acquire to improve your chances there, but it's going to be a little bit of work to get there. So and again, as Connell was saying, all these new random packs in here, these will rotate. So ultra rare, there's obviously no ultra rare mods, so you can expect that characters and weapons will be the slot that fills this. So week over week, spend those mission funds if you have them. Let's buy one right now. Let's just see what happens. I'll probably end up with either an existing rank or a new character. There we go. So rank 12. That means that I've got additional veteran bonus now for my Krogan Gladiator. So.
And I saw somebody asking before, no, those are paid for with mission points, Commander Zoink. And someone asked him why we had a rank XX the Batarian.
Yeah,
that's that veteran bonus.
That's the veteran bonus.
Extra 10 veteran.
So we'll show you real quick here again before we call it here. You'll see now XX20. We've also got in the character select screen, Batty. I've named our Batarian Scrapper Batty, so you can go do that just by going into customize.
Well, let's show the skin tone slider again. Let's take a different one because we've shown it on the Batarian.
Him,
so
let's go maybe
class over to one of the Angard maybe. Yeah, or the Turian.
Yeah, actually,
fancy colors.
Yeah, there you go. Let's go to Angard because I think they show really well with the slider. Sorry, we'll go here. We got skin tone. And you can see that he starts off as kind of like default purple, goes through greens, and kind of almost like a goldish tan color there. But yeah, you got a little bit more customization there. This affects only the alien races that don't wear helmets. Yeah, so I'll look for that. Of course, light color came in last patch on 108, and you can see down here rename. You can go in here. I don't have my keyboard available, but yeah, you can go ahead and do that. On the consoles, you just press A or X, and that'll bring you in and use your exactly. So that was a big thing that people wanted back from Mass Effect 3. It was in the app, but we didn't have it directly in the game, so we brought that back as a little bit of a nod to the player feedback.
You can find a full list of all of these changes on blog.bioware.com. We've got all the numbers for all the weapons changes and explaining all this in a little bit more detail than we were able to go into today.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we hope everybody has a great time with this. Thank you again to everybody for all the feedback on UBSN, the subreddit RME Co-op, social media, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. We look at all of these. The team is constantly reviewing this. We're going to be looking very closely as we see players jump into Platinum over the course of the weekend. Give us your feedback. We'd love to hear what you think. And tell us what you think about the Batarian Scrapper and the new weapons. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. So
stay tuned in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be more stuff coming in the missions. So definitely keep your eyes on those weekly missions. Some more cool stuff, some more maps coming into it. We are going on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so you're not going to see us for the next 2.
Yeah. It won't be a live stream next week from the studios, as you said, vacation. So, stay tuned and let us know what you think. So,
thanks, everybody.
That's it, folks.
Have fun.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Attention Apex Forces, Kandros here. Let me introduce you to our newest Apex recruit. He's a little unconventional, but who of us isn't? Okay, yes, he's a Batarian, I know, but hear me out. He's a cagey fighter, in my opinion, one of the best. And yes, he got his training with one of the most notorious pirate gangs in the Milky Way, but he got tired of that life. So he and a buddy turned evidence on the boss over to the Alliance in exchange for asylum. The Alliance got their bad guy, and our Batarian scrapper got a shot at a new life in Andromeda. He's a huge asset, punches like a machine, so let's make him feel at home, and maybe give him a little extra space, just in case. Andros out.
Alright, so this has been BioWare's update with the Mass Effect Andromeda changes. I will post a video of patch notes about that probably tomorrow. And on that note, this has been Hatch. You've watched a Hatchet Gaming production for Second Wave Elites, and I am out. And as always, I'll leave a link to my social media stuff in the description box below. And I'll catch you all in the next one.